above me.
Look at that. Books all up there too.
Wow.
That's really cool. Is that an inside corner?
It is, yeah. And then there's down as well.
I don't need to see that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what you need to see.
Hey,
All right,
we're live.
guys. You are live in the group now.
We're live. Good to see you, Jamie.
Welcome, Jamie. Welcome, Jamie. Yeah, Jamie
Welcome.
Schmotzer.
Yeah, Jamie Burleigh. Good to see you. Good
Yes.
for you to see me with both eyes.
You know what? Thank you. And it's been a long journey here. I like I said, I was really impressed with the background. I love all them books. I wish I had a big library like that.
Well, I guess I can. There's a few. Yeah.
Nice.
Almost all of those were from school, though. I mean, those are all reference books for school for the most part.
Well, what a perfect way to start the interview. Let's get a little bit more background on who you are and your background, and let everybody know who exactly you are and what the heck you're doing here.
Yeah, well, I guess the books, if I could zoom in on them, when I turned 35, I went back to school and went to seminary in Wisconsin. Actually, Nashotah House Theological Seminary is the oldest institution of higher learning. In the state of Wisconsin, it actually predates the statehood of Wisconsin. And so most of the books that you see behind me were from classes that I took for years and years and years.
How many years?
Well, the master's degree took 2. Then because I got a Master of Arts in Ministry, I needed to, in order to continue on in the doctorate program, I needed as a requirement a Master of Divinity equivalency, which took like another 2 years. And then I went into the Doctor of Ministry and Ascetical Theology program and was in that for years too. So got like 6 credits left, not going back, not going to talk about it. Let's move on now, please.
Yeah. All right. Well, what got you into herbs and wild medicine and remedies and stuff like that, the outdoors?
Well, I'm going to answer the outdoors part first because Chris Dutton actually asked the other question. So I'll go with the outdoors. So I don't know about you. I think when you and I were at Mohican, I might have talked about this, but where we were at Mohican, that covered bridge that we were very close to there, dude, I camped not but a quarter of a mile from that covered bridge when I was 3 years old.
Yeah, that's right. You were saying that.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't have very many memories from being that young. But one of the memories that I do have, being 3 years old, is being at at that time, there was no state forest there at Mohican. It was all a state park. And that area by where we were at a few months ago was where they had primitive camping. And I distinctly remember being 3 years old and using a hatchet for the first time. It had a red handle. I mean, wow. I remember that, detail from way back then. So that's to say that my parents raised us camping since we were babies. That's what we always did. Vacations were almost always camping. Whether it was with friends of the family or just as a family, that's what we always did. I didn't know about this word bushcraft until, a few years ago, but I've been camping my whole life.
I see. You do a lot of reenactment camping and stuff like that. Talk about that real quick.
So I've only gotten into that 2018, August of 2018 was my very first event.
Really?
And well, yeah, now there is here in Ohio, I grew up in the same town as Hale Farm and Village. In fact, on the way to high school, I would drive past there every single day. And they have the biggest annual event for Civil War reenacting in the state of Ohio. Now, there is an event that's bigger, but it's an every other year event. So Hale Farm gets to maintain. We've got the biggest annual event. So my sister and her 4 kids and husband were living in California for about the last 10 years or so. And when she would come home and bring the kids home in August, they would always go to Hale Farm for the Civil War reenactment. And one year, my nephew Liam, who you actually met at the Youth Day a few years ago,
Right.
he says, "Mommy, I don't want to go to Hale Farm and watch the reenacting anymore." And my sister's like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" She's like, No, Mommy, I want to go. I just don't want to watch anymore. I want to do it. So I volunteered to my sister, Amelia, "Hey, if you're going to do this as a family, I want to go do it with you. I will take those kids camping and be with them on their terms, just so long as I get to go out in the woods with them and go camping. I don't care how." So when they moved back to Ohio, that's when they started doing that. And their first event overnight was August 2018.
That's really great. Really great.
Whatever it's going to take for me to get them out in the woods,
Whatever it takes.
I'm not into the reenacting thing. That's not my thing. That's just a way for me to be with them.
No, but I was always drawn to that. My wife's family did that her whole life. They went to the Feast of St. Clair and they went to the rendezvous, and they dressed the part. Civil War reenacting, and I just thought it was really neat. Going and seeing the canvas wall tents and all the wood chairs, and they when it was dinner time, they had a wooden table out there with wooden chairs and horn spoons and the crock mugs and everything. And they had their bean soup and their breads making over the fire. It was really, really excellent seeing these people do this, reenact. And I was wondering, maybe if they were off the boat and they had their chairs and they had all their stuff for homesteading, that's pretty much how they would be living at that point. They'd have their table out there and everything else. At first it seemed odd, but it probably was that way. And it was interesting to me. I really liked that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
in their cool shoes. In their cool shoes.
Man, I went barefoot to most of the events. Only recently did I get a pair of custom-made shoes. In fact, I was at the Hale Farm event in 2019, and the guy traced around my bare foot, and a couple months later I got my shoes and they were sized for me. In fact, you know what, I've got them right here, but they've got those metal pins on the bottom. There's like a horseshoe kind of metal thing at the heel. They are the most uncomfortable shoes I've ever worn, let me tell you.
If you wore them every day in the wet, they probably would form right to your feet though.
Yeah, but dude, I'm used to going barefoot or wearing sandals, even in 2 feet of snow. So just wearing shoes, But
I get it.
Hi, my name is Jamie Schmotzer. If you enjoyed this video, please click subscribe, the notification bell, all that good stuff you know about. But if you're interested in more content like this, you may want to join the Old World Alliance Facebook group. It's called The Lodge. And a quick link to get there will be in the description box below, owalodge.com. And if you're interested in exclusive content that will not be available anywhere on YouTube, you might want to become a member and subscribe to the Old World Alliance. And you can do that by clicking on the link below for jointheowa.com. Thank you very much.